Hi Sagittarius, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol and this is going to be a general reading for you. There's no date on this reading. I trust that when it comes into your feed, it's meant for you. And so in today's reading, Sagittarius, we're going to be doing Embrace Your Anger. I've had a number of new subscribers on my channel, and I also know that maybe some of you aren't aware of my background and why I actually started my tarot channel in the first place. So when I started my tarot channel, I always wanted my channel to be something that was healing and that would help my viewers go on their own personal journey, their own healing journey to get back to their authentic self. I myself have complex trauma, and I am a survivor of sexual abuse and trafficking in my own family. And through the last almost 8 years that I've been healing intensively, healing my own shadow, healing everything that I've repressed, all my memories from childhood, they're all repressed. And I've really come to find out how powerful anger is in our life, how powerful of an emotion it is if you can understand how it works in your own life. For me, anger has been an emotion that I have used in a very ungrounded way before my intensive therapy. I'm a retired teacher of 30 years in Canada, and I also have 3 adult children that I've raised, and I used my anger quite a bit in both of those situations. But it wasn't a grounded anger, it was a very ungrounded anger. And I've come to learn that when you repress your anger, when you push it down, it spills out over, around people that are safe to you. And unfortunately, they're the ones that we hurt the most. And the reason why I suppressed my anger was because I was taught by my abusers in my life to not use my anger. And I was actually shown in a number of ways what would happen to me if I used my anger. And so I had this incredible fear around ever using my anger. And I was taught to put it away and to never, ever take it out. And so it was definitely an emotion that was repressed in me. It was very ungrounded. And after when you do rage and you have these explosions, you can't understand where it's coming from because you just know it's not you. And so I had to learn in my intensive therapy to use my anger again. It was not something I wanted to touch because I was absolutely petrified to use it because I know deep down what was going to happen to me if I tried to use it. And so as I worked through a lot of my memories, and I continue to work through my memories, I had to incorporate anger at the people that hurt me. And I did it through my journaling, and that's how I got to my anger, was through my journaling. And that's how I released my grounded anger so that my own anger is no longer in a place where I'm going to rage at people. I just know that because I've grounded my anger. And so this reading is really a reading for you to learn to start to recognize what pattern or situation is creating anger in your own life right now. And a lot of times we're not aware of it, but we just know that, there might be this anger brewing underneath. And sometimes we don't even think we have anger, and it continues to spill out on other people. And that will really definitely tell us that we have some ungrounded anger. I want to look at how your own ungrounded anger is manifesting in your life, in your daily life, how you're seeing it. And that'll be really important for me to bring awareness to that for you. And then I want to look at, what are you afraid of will happen if you express your anger? And finally, I'm going to look at how you can begin to release or express your anger in a grounded way. So I'm going to ask for some advice from the tarot, and then I'll give you a little bit of my own advice at the end. I might give you a playlist from my other channel, Carol Cares, where I've put out some information on anger. I have some excellent videos that I've put out, and so you can take a look at those to help you out. So let's get on with your reading. I'm going to begin with the Curious Travels deck. And I'm going to pull out 4 main cards from that. And then I'll use the Radiant Rider-Waite to clarify that. So let's begin right now. I've pre-shuffled these cards before I came on. So Tarot, if you can give me 1 card for Sagittarius around what pattern situation is creating anger in their life right now. Whoa, that was a lot. I don't think I've seen 3 come out of this for... This deck is pretty good at spitting out 1 at a time, but they've spit out 3 here for you. So you have the 6 of Pentacles, and you have the Queen of Wands in reverse, and you have the 5 of Wands in reverse. I might pull out 1 clarifier for that, but that's going to give me quite a bit of information on its own. And how does your repressed or your unground anger manifest itself in your daily life right now? There we go, 1 card. 2 of Wands in reverse. I'm already seeing 3 wands coming out here. What are you afraid of will happen if you express your anger? 1 card, please. This came out sideways. It's the Ace of Swords. Oops, Ace of Swords. And how can you begin to release or express your anger in a grounded way? 1 card for that. Just start that over. I'm sitting right in my hand. There we go. You have the Knight of Cups in reverse, and you have the Page of Swords in reverse. Let me just pull 1 clarifier for this first part right here. 1 clarifier, please. You have the 9 of Pentacles. A couple clarifiers for the 2 of Wands. That one bent. Okay, the Emperor in reverse. And the 5 of Pentacles. Ace of Swords. I think we could probably get 1 more card. There we go. The Chariot. And the Page of Cups in reverse. Knight of Cups. And the Page of Swords. Couple cards. King of Cups in reverse. The Moon card. Let's begin with what pattern situation is creating anger in your life right now. Where are you sitting with? Why are you angry? And again, you may not even notice that it's kind of like brewing underneath. You start off with the 6 of Pentacles right here. 6 of Pentacles is a card that speaks of these 2 individuals that are reaching up here. And you see that scale up there? And they're reaching up towards it. It's like someone's giving them something. It's 6 is a duality in all my cards. And so this number 6 here, the 6 of Pentacles, is really a duality with this giving and receiving. And it's really my unworthiness card, because these 2 individuals are feeling like their worth is being weighed out. So whatever they think they are worth is what they're going to receive in life, right? And I think you're just kind of, you are used to, and I'm going to say that because I was in that situation as well, where it's just like, because I had so much unworthiness inside of me. I was taught when I was young that I didn't matter. And because I grew up feeling like that, I was in a situation for too long where I realized that this was just the norm for me. And whatever, when people shit on me, literally, I just took it. because I was so used to that. And so I'm just wondering if you're sitting in a position where you're just taking it because that's what you're used to. And it's almost like, you know, deep down that, you know, something's not right with this situation that you're in right now. But it's just like sometimes we are very numb to the situation. It's just, this is just the way it is. And behind it you have the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands speaks about, first of all, the Queen is our feminine side. We all have a feminine and a masculine side. We're going to get to the masculine side with the King in a minute. But the Queen is our feminine side. She is that part of us that, and it has nothing to do with gender, by the way. So the Queen of Wands is the one that holds the wands. It's the wand of creativity. It's the wand of, you know, their fiery energy. It's the wand of taking you in the direction that you're meant to go in, that you want to go in, like putting yourself first. And she's in reverse here. And I think what's happening is I think you've learned that you're not first. You were never first when you were younger. And I think that's just kind of the situation that you've fallen into, because you're repeating the same pattern from childhood. And that's what happens. We repeat these patterns until we go back and we heal the original source of what happened to us. And you haven't put yourself first for a long time. And then you get the Five of Swords, the Five of Wands coming in. I said there was a lot of wands in here, in this first part right here, which is really speaks about the, you know, the creative energy of wanting to go forward in your life and taking your life in this, putting yourself first. And this card is in reverse, and it talks about, this is what I call the battle of the egos. It's a card where these individuals have these wands and it looks like they're battling it out. But what they're really doing is kind of judging each other, you know. And in particular, they're judging themselves by looking at everyone else around them. And I also call this card my inner critic, where you can really look at other people in your life and think, you know, they have it better than me. I'm less than. It's my less than card, where you think you're not pretty enough, you're not strong enough, you're not beautiful enough, you're just not enough. And it's in reverse here. And so I'm seeing here that, you know, this is really, this inner critic card is something that has really, you know, it's like you look in the mirror and you just talk down to yourself. It's just come to a situation where you yourself has done this to yourself. And a lot of times what happens is, rather than get angry at the people that are meant for us to get angry at, we will self-blame. You know, we'll blame ourselves for everything that's happened in our life, and we can really be hard on ourselves. And so it's really coming out here as this unworthiness in you. And then this Nine of Pentacles ends here as the final clarification. And the Nine of Pentacles is a card that talks about, you know, what are you willing to commit to in your life, to stand up for in your life. And I think that's been a real, probably the driving force behind all of this. It's like the universe is saying, you know, here you are with this incredible amount of unworthiness around yourself. You've got this anger that you need to get angry at these people when you were younger that told you these things about yourself. You've taken on this self-blame. And underneath all of this, the universe is saying, like, what are you willing to commit to here? What is important to you in your life? And I don't think it's been you, unfortunately. I don't think you have been what's important in your life. And that's what needs to be important for you to start your healing journey. And so, or to get, you know, to continue this healing journey if you're on it already. How does your repressed or your ungrounded anger manifest itself in your daily life? Well, you have the Two of Wands as your main card that comes out, and it's in reverse. So the Two of Wands is a card where, you know, look at this child on the swing, and it almost looks like, yeah, it looks like they're holding the globe in their hand. Very much contemplating life. This reminds me, I have a picture when I was really little of myself and my two sisters beside me. I mean, a lot smaller than this individual. But it's like you're sitting there on your swing when you're younger, contemplating, you know, your life. When we were younger, we knew who we were. When we were like 4, 5, 6 years old, we knew what direction we were supposed to go into. We were born into this world knowing what direction you were supposed to go into. And it's in reverse here. And so I'm seeing here that there's really, you're really feeling a loss of direction in your life. And I think this is why in the first part, incredible how this first part came out, where it's like, what are you willing to commit to? It's wanting to give you a direction to go into, which is committing to yourself. Because I feel that right now you're a bit lost in where you want to go in your life. And the Emperor card comes out. And the Emperor card is, it's in reverse, but in an upright position, the Emperor card talks about this father-like figure. I call him Mr. Emperor, just to give him this, you know, importance that he thinks he has. And he's sitting here, he's been sitting here in this chair, this cement chair, for a long time. Look at what he's wearing. He's got his outfit's got this ironclad outfit going on. He's very confident, very comfortable in his position, because he has set out these rules for the society that he rules behind him. He represents the rules of society, these imaginary rules that we learned when we were younger, and we continue to follow them. We continue to follow them. And so look where it's got you. Like, I think the universe wants to turn this around and say, listen, I think you've been following these imaginary rules that you learned as a child regarding your own anger. And I think it's time for you to take a look at this right now. It's time. What is society? What are the rules that you've learned in society about your own rules? You know, society has given anger a bad rap. And so I'm wondering if you have learned when you were younger that, you know, society is, that anger is a really bad emotion, so you don't take it out. And I'm wondering if this little child right here that's swinging when you were younger really wanted to express their anger, but they couldn't. I'm wondering about that. And so right now what I'm seeing that you're really feeling, and this is a second card that's coming out here that really expresses your unworthiness. Because you have the Five of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles is my unworthiness card. These two individuals walking by this place of worship, they need to go inside for some warmth, and they're not even considering that they can actually do that. And so I think that you are in a place with your unworthiness where you've really lost direction, and you're not even considering that because of your unworthiness, that you actually can take your life in this new direction. Put yourself first. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? What's going to happen if you express this anger? And this is something you were taught, by the way, when you were younger. What are you afraid of? Well, here's your Ace of Wands, and it's in a Ace of Swords, and it's in a sideways position, which is very interesting. The Ace of Wands represents, all my aces in my deck are a gift from the universe, or they're like an offer. It's saying, listen, I'm giving you this. It's a gift. I'm giving you this sword. It's your sword of authenticity. It's your sword that's going to get you back to your true self. And there's been this huge pull, right, for you to come back to your true self, your authentic self here. And I think there's a big part of you that's afraid of your authentic self. Like, there's a big part of you. I call it our ego it is coming up here, your ego. That is your king, actually. But our ego can really block us. And our ego can be petrified of our ego is petrified of our authentic self. There's a big part of us, the ego, that is really scared that if we express our anger, it's going to swallow us up totally swallow us up, but it's actually the opposite. It's going to lead us to our authentic self. But this particular card is kind of saying you're on the fence here going, I'm so scared, that almost like you're scared of your authenticity, but that's your ego self there playing out. And I think for so long that you've been trying to control it, because this Chariot card speaks about control. And I'm wondering, you know, maybe obviously you've had a situation where you were told to control your anger. This particular charioteer is trying to control these sphinxes. He has no reins on them. He's been trying to control them for so long that he too is driving a chariot that is made of cement, just like the emperor sitting on her cement chair. He's been there for a long time. You've been trying to control this for a long time, these two sphinxes. They're not moving. They're made of cement. And so you've been using your mind for so long to try to control, push, and repress this anger down, because you are so afraid of what is going to happen if you use your anger. It's going to come, you're going to move in a different direction. It's going to bring about so much change in your life. It's such a powerful emotion. And then you have this Page of Cups coming in right here. This explains everything. If I had to pick one card on this entire reading for you, it would be this little Page of Cups. It's going to tell us everything. Your page, my pages in my deck, first of all, are inner children. We have more than one inner child because I've been on this healing journey for almost 8 years intensively. And I know I have more than one inner child in me that holds my memories and all my big emotions from childhood. This little page, it's blocked right now, and that's why it's in reverse. But it's called my love seeker. It's all of us have this part of us. It's that part of us that is trying to get to the love, get back that love that they didn't get when they were younger. And it really can become that part of us that is so petrified of rejection, so petrified that they're going to be abandoned. Because if this part of knows that if I'm rejected, if I'm abandoned again, I'm going to die. And so I think this is what this is really calling out here, that you are so afraid that if you express this anger, I'm going to go back to this authentic self. If you express this anger, if you take this sword and you move towards your truth and you express your anger, you are petrified. This part of you, this little love seeker, is so scared that they're going to be rejected by people because you think that using your anger is going to set people off. It's going to push people away. It's going to hurt people. And it's it might, but those are the people that you're going to have to let go of, because expressing your anger is going to heal this part of you that needed, when you were younger, needed you to express it. They wanted to express it, but you couldn't. You were a child. You weren't allowed to express it. You're an adult now. You get to use your anger in a grounded way, and we're going to get to that in a minute and how you can release it. Because when you start to release your anger, you're standing up for this little love seeker that wanted so much when they were younger, the love and the approval and from other people. And I think that's why for so long you've been repressing this anger. You've had this fear. This love seeker's had this fear that if you use it, you're going to lose all these people. And so how can you begin? What's the advice from the tarot? And I'll give you a little bit of my advice in a minute, but I sort of have been all along. But what's the tarot saying? How do you begin to heal? Well, you have two cards here. One is the Knight of Cups, and then you have the Page of Swords to clarify. And this is another inner child, another page. And so first of all, let's get into this Knight right here. And it's in reverse. My Knights in my deck, first of all, are what I call a part of us, a freedom fighter. And it's an adolescent part, and we all have it. It's that part that wants to be free from oppression. It doesn't want people to control us. That topic of control has already come up with you here. And so there's this part of you that wants freedom, and you want to be able to express it, right? Emotion, and you want freedom to be able to express your anger, because this knight has the cup in its hand, and that's the cup of emotions. And so you have this part of us that wants the freedom to be able to express this anger, especially at the people that made you angry, that you were supposed to get angry at when you were younger but couldn't. And this particular part, when it's blocked like this, when there's a real resistance to you, to expressing your anger, there can be definitely, they can be an angry part. They can also be a part that holds a lot of our hopelessness. So you could be somebody that's sitting in, bits and I did with my depression, because your depression is actually something that will block that anger. It's like a screen, because I would not rather now, let me tell you, but my go-to would be always sit in depression and sit in that hopelessness rather than go to my anger, because I wasn't allowed to go to my anger. There was too much at stake. And so maybe you're somebody like that. And then you have the Page of Swords. And this is an inner child, again, that needs healing, that's blocked. This child needs to be listened to. This child needs to be heard, and it needs to be healed, just like your little love seeker, your Page of Cups right here. And this child has the authentic sword in its hand. It knows who they were at 4, 5, and 6 years old. You knew who you were. You knew what direction you were going into. You knew what you wanted to commit yourself to when you were younger. But some, things happen, and we're told we're not supposed to express our anger. We shut down. And, and that's where our inner children hold these big emotions for us. You have the King of Cups here that's coming in, and this is the masculine side to us, like I talked about. It's your ego self, and it's the one that will come in and block your anger. It's going to block your anger. It wants nothing to do with this powerful emotion called anger, because anger will bring about, if expressed in a grounded way, it'll bring about so much change in your life. It'll lead you towards your authenticity, and it's such a powerful emotion. Anger can sit in our body repressed for so long, but it can't stay there. It'll come out, and that's why it comes out sideways usually. It's because this particular part of us, our ego, wants nothing to do with it. It'll definitely come out and block you. And what I do is, when I feel blocked by my ego self, I'll write from this part, and I'll write out things like, because this is a part of us that needs to be heard. All our parts need to be heard. And I'll write out, don't you dare go near your anger. Don't you dare express your anger. And oftentimes you'll hear this part of you. It sounds like our abusers are talking to us when we were younger. Don't you dare. And they do, they'll repeat the same things. But you need to write that out, and that's what I do in my journaling. And then the last thing is, there's the Moon card. When you start, the Moon talks about these things that come out, these weird things, these things that are hidden when the Moon comes out, right? It's very much something, Moon often represents our intuition, this inner knowing from our unconscious that comes out. When you start to express your anger, when you start to journal from your anger, I'm going to leave you with the playlist at the end. And it's got all kinds of videos on anger in it. And it's also got a video on how to journal from your anger. It's going to have some writing prompts in there for you. And, I would suggest you start off with, don't you dare touch your anger. And when you start to write from this ego self that does not want you to touch your anger, there's going to be some other hidden information that's going to come out. Probably things like, it's going to tell you why you can't touch your anger. And that's when you start to heal, when you start to hear your parts talking to you. And when they get your trust through your own journaling and you start to write. Journaling and grounding have been my number one tools equally in my own healing journey. And so I'll leave you with the playlist on fear. I also will leave you with the last video I did for you, which was on conquering your fears. So Sagittarius, I want you to have compassion for yourself for everything you're working through. Your healing journey is the most difficult journey of your life, but it's the most important one. Take care, and I'll talk soon. Bye.